What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. We just got back from the 2023 Indy Jamboree. It is Sunday. I got to see a whole bunch of people put a bunch of names to faces, and it was honestly just a pretty relaxed weekend. Had a lot of fun, and we drove the blue truck out there, of course. Did very well on the way home, or the whole tank. I went there and back and filled up whenever I got back, and it got 21 miles a gallon. I've been pretty stoked about that, so it did well. Very happy. So we're back on the dyno because there is a hunt to find more. Most of you guys don't know, but my turbo kit was off the truck, and it's all back on now. Everything's ready. I had Evan do some work to the turbine housing on the manifold charger, so we'll see how that goes on the HX35 platform with the 12 cm housing. He has done similar work to that turbine housing, and it has yielded very good results, and I think we're going to try and see if we aren't going to see the same with this Bork-Warner housing. Besides that, I messed with the manifold and the gate a little bit as far as like cleaning up the ports and everything for where the gate bolts to the manifold. Still, it is not great. It's not ideal. So we got that taken care of, and I think everything else is back on the truck as it was. Air's the same, fuel's the same. I got my CO2 bottle set up and no leaks. And I have it set to where it likes it best. It shows 10 psi on there, but it's actually 20 on the AEM. So that's where I'm at with that. And we're gonna mess with the gate a little bit to see where it makes the most power now with that turbine housing worked over a little bit. Then after that, we're gonna be messing with some pump stuff to confirm some theories for Evan. I won't get into that, but we'll just see what differences it makes and see if we can't learn something. So I'm going to look over everything and get going here. So, quick recap of that pass, 723. We went 21 PSI on the dome. It made 106 pounds of drive. It's usually only making almost like 70 pounds of drive, so we're gonna take a lot off the dome. We went down to 14-ish, so see what happens. Keep dropping it down. If it keeps picking up power till we see drive where we want it. I might raise my start mile an hour up 1 or 2 mile an hour because I couldn't get on the charger. You'll see on the graph it's under the charger in the first of the run, so we need to take care of that, and we're gonna make another rip. Alrighty, so let's recap that run. So this was a 734 run. Actually, the most power we've made to date. That was the previous number, so far that's a 5 horsepower difference there. Nothing crazy, but it's also much hotter in here than it normally is and all that good stuff, so I'm happy to see that, and that's my third pull, I believe. So let's compare some data. I'm wondering what's going on here. You guys can see that drop right there, and drive was climbing right up until that point, so I'm thinking right here is when the gate opened, which would be this, focus, come on, which I believe would be this last little bit here where it was really climbing. So that's some interesting stuff. Let's compare data from the previous run. So we're looking at 102 psi drive versus 98. So we dropped 4 psi drive there, which is about 8 psi from the beginning. 82 pounds of boost versus 84. So we dropped another 2. So that's 4 pounds of boost now that we're down. 28 psi between. We're up 1 psi there, and then 9 psi dome. And previously it was right 14.9 to 15 pounds of dome. So I'm going to keep bringing dome pressure down and just letting it open on. I'm going to go down to like 5 psi and see what it does there. And again, small adjustments. I don't want to make big adjustments. I'm making around 5 psi adjustments because I want to really find that fine line. And it seems to be doing really well up top. I mean, it's 4,000 RPM and we're right below 650-ish. Yeah. At 3,900, we're at 670-ish. So it's making good power out the back, which is, and like most of you know, that's really impressive for a VE truck. Where that run didn't really start till 2350. So that, I'm not a fan of this stuff down here, but you know, we're learning things here. So I'm going to go ahead and change dome pressure, turn the fans on, let it cool down again. Keep repeating the process, but we're learning things today. Okay, so let's recap that run. It did 728 and 1268, so it was following it's this purple line, it's kind of hard to see. It's following that same trend right out the back, below the 734 number. I believe temperature was about the same, so I don't know. I targeted 5 psi dome with the key off, that's what it was showing, so it's kind of odd. Usually it raises a little bit, so I was expecting to see about 6, but it's not the case. So here's our comparison, 92 psi drive from 98, 79 psi boost from 82, so down 3 there. About the same between stage, it was like 27.5 to 28, 27.9, so it's all over 27 to 28. And then 3 psi dome. So I'm going to try and bring up dome just a little bit, and then after this, I'm going to run it on just spring pressure and see what it does. Because this is still way higher. I mean, way higher. I just sent a message to the group because I keep the First Gen Boys updated. We obviously are trying to push for more and more power, and I don't do that by myself. It comes with everybody's help. So the 729 run before I made my 1200 horse nitrous whack was 5 psi dome, and it only made 56 pounds of boost and 58 pounds of drive. 56 pounds of boost, 58 pounds of drive. What is happening? I am so lost. But yeah, we're gonna adjust again, let the fans cool it down again, and make another whack, and just keep on pushing. After I finally get this verdict and wastegate stuff settled, I'm gonna mess with some pump stuff, and we're gonna play with that. But yeah, we're learning some cool things today. I've realized that from 3 to 10 psi on dome is extremely finicky. So granted, this is only like a 6 horsepower difference, but it is odd to see it out the back and what it does. So we're gonna keep on adjusting. Fifth run, let's get it. So this is what we got. 726 on that run. So we put more dome pressure on it because I didn't get the targeted 5 I wanted. We got 96 pounds of drive, so 4 psi increase, 1 psi increase on total boost, same between. Went from 3 pounds of dome to 6 pounds of dome. I don't know if the reflection here might be something to do with heat. I'm gonna let the truck cool down a lot. I'm gonna make a run without any pressure on the gate. Just run it on spring pressure. And then I might get a wild hair and run that line to the bottom side of the gate to open the gate sooner, just for pure scientific reasons, because I don't understand what is happening. The 729 run you see up here, yeah, that was like, I've already told you guys, it's way less boost, way less drive. I'm trying to wrap my head around it, but we're gonna just keep on testing things because that's what I do, I guess. But yeah, we're gonna move on to the next part and just let it open on spring pressure and see what happens. All right, of course I didn't record that pull and it was the best pull yet, but it's gonna look like just all the other ones to you guys. You can't tell that in a video really. So this last run it did 740, about the same torque numbers up here, 6 horsepower higher. So let's get into what changed, and you can tell it wasn't just a peak. It obviously had more peak, but it just maintained it all the way out the back. Even all the way from 2800-ish, it was just better. So let's get into that. I'll show you the data. So we've got 92 psi drive versus 96, so we're down 4 there. Down 2 psi of boost to 78, and then we are up just a tad bit, basically the same as we have been on between stage, and then we ran 0 psi dome to the top, so we had 0 CO2 hooked up. Bottle's sitting right here. So you can run a line to the bottom side of the gate on these to open the gate up sooner. So I might hook it up to that instead and just, see what happens, because we're here for the learning experience. I'm gonna run the dyno a little bit different here and just try and back the number up after I get it cooled off. Lots of things that I've been wanting to just find out about, but it's definitely happiest there. The boost numbers and everything are still much higher than our previous peak of 729 horsepower, which was this run, the green one. So lots of learning. It's 7:05, so I'm going to try and not be here super late tonight, but I am trying to figure some things out. So we will see what happens. After this run, I might bump some timing just to see if it picks anything up, and then go from there. I'm all fired up. Let's get into it here. The fan's on. I'm just gonna leave it on because it needs to cool down. This is the last run, 760 horsepower. Look at this, just picking it up out the back. That is touching the 700 horsepower line at 3975. God, I love to see it. I just hope that you guys are as fired up as I am. But 740 pull here, 760, so we bumped the timing. That was the difference. I added the pump was almost touching the head. I went ahead and got it all the way to where it is basically touching the head. We went from 92 pounds of drive to 90. We went from 78 pounds of boost to 77, 27, almost 28 on the between stage, down to 26 even, and then nothing on the dome. So there's nothing I can do. I would have to skip a tooth to add any more timing, which is interesting. I did not get to the pump stuff that I needed to test theory-wise for Evan, and that's very unfortunate. It's 8 o'clock on a Sunday. I'm tired. I want to go home. I'm hungry. I have one more thing I want to test, and that's something with the wastegate, and I'm gonna do that here very shortly because I'm very curious what it will do. But how about that? 760. Because Eric did 731, freaking awesome. But I wanted to, before I say anything about what I've achieved, I don't want to make 732. I don't want to, like, I want to try and put some distance on it. So there's 760, 40 more till 800. I think it's doable. This is, again, this is just finding efficiency. This is, dyno time pays off if you are looking for that extra little bit. 729 horsepower to 760, so we picked up 29 horsepower, 28, something like that. I don't know, almost 30 horsepower. So that's pretty cool. Test one more thing and get this thing off the dyno and drive it home. Okay, so I don't think I recorded them, but just for scientific purposes, I put my CO2 bottle to the bottom of the gate to make the gate open sooner. These are the 2 runs with it. This was 5 psi. This was about 2-ish, about 2 to 3 psi here. It's just it just loses its ass, I guess. Unfortunately, I mean it does pick up out the back. I mean it's there out the back, but I just want to do it for testing purposes, I guess. So I wrote all my stuff down with that 2 psi to the bottom of the gate. We went to 68 pounds of drive, 62 pounds of boost, and 26 between, versus 90 and 77 who were at 68 and 62. So we tried it. I learned something, so that's cool. Some people run some to the bottom of the gate and some to the top of the gate. I haven't really got to that point. It's 9 o'clock. I'm going home. We're going to unstrap this thing and take the CO2 bottle off and try and go find some food before everything closes. But hopefully you guys had a good weekend. I'll just leave this one as we found more power on fuel. If we can find more on fuel, we can find more on the bottle. So really we're just trying to find efficiency at this point. And yeah, we got some data to go off of. I'm going to shoot this all over to Weston, see what he thinks. I've been talking with Evan all night, so we're all pretty stoked. But I'm gonna undo all this stuff. We're gonna get out of here. So till next time, I will see you guys. I hope to see you before we go race at Wagler's for Fall Nationals for our season closer, which is in 2 weeks on the 28th, I think. But until then, we'll try and keep finding more data, I guess. Peace out. See you guys.